there. There we go. 3, 2, and 1. Well, Steve, welcome to Mayor's Monday here at WSAU, WSAU.com. Obviously, you're not a mayor per se, but as we like to say, you're still a community leader. So we still like to include you in on the rotation. So welcome to it here for the first time as village administrator, correct?
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Happy to be here.
Yeah, you were just telling me, and maybe this goes to show just how long I've been here. We have actually talked before when you were with Rib Mountain. You actually had to remind me of that. I'd forgotten again because I've been here so long and talked to so many people, yada yada. But how
Yeah,
do you like the being the head honcho in charge there down in the village of Plover?
love it. Absolutely love it. As everybody that has spoken before me to you in this same interview, the Village of Plover is a special place. We've got a incredible support system with our village board, our elected officials, and our community as a whole. Just the staff here and the community here is very supportive. The goal is just to do the right thing. So I'm fortunate to be able to work for the village, all its residents and business owners, and that I was hired here. But again, just a great community that hoping we can keep that going. Kind of hold the fort up for the two Dans that served previous to me. I haven't had to do my name change yet. They haven't forced it on me, but I was tempted.
And I'm just kind of realizing now Plover's actually the first community, the first entity to have three different leaders now in the time that I've been here. Again, I'm going to attribute that to, me just being here too long and getting older in that sense. But yeah, Dan Mahoney, Dan Alt, I mean, that energy between the two of them just absolutely rubs off. And you spend any sort of time talking to them about Plover and it's right away, boom, let's go. What are we doing? We're running through this wall right here. Great area. Let's do it. Let's get stuff done.
Certainly, and we have they laid the groundwork, and I want to acknowledge too all of the department heads that served underneath them for so many years. I can say as of today, the 8 department heads that we had when I first came in, there is one from the day that I started in Plover 4 years ago. We had a long time group of folks that really made Plover what it is today, and they've all successfully retired. And we're starting fresh, which is exciting, but also a big task, right? I said Dan Mahoney, Dan Alt, Dan Schluter, Tom Davies, the last 2 village presidents laid the groundwork for an incredible community, and our job is to keep that going. So that and all those department heads that served here previously really made Plover what it is, and we hope that we can continue that.
And that's just it, though. The most challenging part about being new on the job like that is because for that first year, even after you start to get comfortable in the position, then all of a suddenly there's something that you haven't seen before, something like budget season, which you really don't know what it all entails until you've gone through that process. And that's a process that you're in right now. Tell us how the village budget is shaping up for 2024.
Yeah, so like I said, it is budget season for all local units of government in central Wisconsin and Wisconsin as a whole. I'm happy to say that our budget process has gone pretty smoothly. Again, our department heads are high quality professionals that understand the environment that we're working within in the levy limit environment in Wisconsin. We're blessed with folks that are responsible with taxpayer dollars, really truly ask for the things that they really need and are responsible with it. So our village board approved publishing our proposed budget it was approximately 2.8% increase proposed for 2024. Certainly minor in the face of inflation that we've been dealing with for many years, but the village has long been trying to do more with less. How can we be more efficient while still serve our residents and our business owners the same, if not better than we do every day? And I think we've accomplished that. Certainly as I talked to you kind of before the show, Act 12, certainly the state legislature acknowledging that all local units of government are struggling in the current system, that kind of rework with the shared revenue certainly helped. I just want to thank them for the acknowledgement of the system needing to be looked at. I think there's still some work needs to be done on that level, but by no means was what they did small, and it certainly makes a big difference when it comes to the budgeting season. So we were able to accomplish a lot in the face of rising costs, especially health insurance, and just material wise, things for plow trucks, fire trucks, the struggle to get police cars. Believe it or not, it's nearly impossible. We just received a vehicle that we ordered 2 years ago,
Oh, geez.
and we got two more that we want to order, but we're kind of waiting from our supplier that kind of says it doesn't really pay to even order it at this point. So I'm trying to order any sort of infrastructure, any sort of vehicle, public works wise, public safety wise. It's a couple of years out. So how we plan for those things has drastically changed here recently.
Yeah, not exactly Amazon Prime 2-3 day rush on something like that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So you mentioned though upgrading equipment and things like that. That's obviously something that every municipality is looking for. You've always got the list of projects. You want to be able to do all of them. Sometimes you have to cut the list off at a certain point or not. What are some of those projects that you do plan to get done in 2024 as far as capital programs go?
Yeah, so I mean, every year the village does its routine street maintenance. So that's on the docket here for next year, like always. Actually, every 3 years we do we go out to borrow and do major road reconstructions through the village. So all the roads that really need to, your surface treatments is not going to work anymore. It really needs the road needs to be dug up and redone. That was this year. So we've got a couple years to wait for that. So a shout out to our public works crew that is really involved in a lot of that work. A lot of it's contracted out, but they're out there working every day really hard. So that's a big one. We've got a couple county highway projects coming up next year. So probably the most intrusive but certainly necessary project is County Highway B, I-39, kind of by the Mark Toyota, going all the way down to Post Road, ahead of Menards, etc. That whole stretch of road is going to be redone next year. So it'll be kind of a multi-phased project with kind of repaving from Hoover Avenue to I-39, just kind of replacing the pavement that's there, and then a full reconstruct from Hoover Avenue over to Post Road. So there's no way around the fact that it's going to be a really messy area for an entire season. It's going to start as early as you possibly can and end in probably November of next year. We've had a lot of coordinating meetings with our local business owners along that corridor. They're on board with it. They understand it's a challenge, but that we need to get done. So working with the Portage County and the Wisconsin Department of Transportation, as they'll be the ones kind of leading that project. That'll be a big one for next year. That will impact a lot of things that happen throughout the village, especially as it relates to our growing tournament repertoire over at the Plover Wedding Youth Athletics out at Woyak Park.
Oh yeah.
That group over there, that's a volunteer-led group that just really kills it. They do a fantastic job. They've been approached and have run a couple different state tournaments, and they've done those so well that some national tournaments are approaching, asking them to run their tournaments for them. They just do such a great job. They're a huge tourism draw in our community, Plover and well beyond. When they come in for their tournaments, the hotel market here is pretty tied up, and that's just, again, it's a testament to how well Plover Wedding Youth Athletics really runs their operation.
Yeah, and that ties right back into what you mentioned with Act 12, because now when you bring those people into the Plover Stevens Point area, they're going to spend those dollars, those purchases are going to be taxed, and 20% of that is going to stay right with the municipalities. Now you're not getting that exact amount, but still, the more that total goes up, the more you are actually going to get at the end of the year.
Yeah, because with Act 12, that sales tax it's tied to sales tax statewide. So that shared revenue, the supplemental piece of it, can continue to grow if the trend, which has always been sales tax dollars, have continued to rise. That's been a constant theme. So you hope that holds true. But yeah, I mean, and tied into that, bringing people into our community, the Plover Area Convention and Visitors Bureau has been going off fantastic. That group has been meeting, and the new executive director, Mallory Payne, has been just a great job advocating for our area, working with our businesses as well as the Stevens Point Area Convention and Visitors Bureau, really finding some partnerships there. It's been a great program. We're excited for what it looks like moving forward. This is the first year, so really building up that budget through the room tax dollars. But Mallory and her team with the Convention and Visitors Bureau has been doing a fantastic job. Again, celebrating us as Plover and the greater Plover area, which we're really excited for.
So then, speaking of that, did you ever actually add up and see how you turned out after the U.S. Men's Senior Open back in late June, early July? when that brought so many people into the Stevens Point area.
Yeah, I mean, I know our hotels were doing well. I don't know that it was quite what they expected. As far as I think there was some anticipation of a few more folks coming to the region, but by no means was it was a success, right? That tournament was incredible. Century, as always, does such a great job organizing all of their events. I was lucky enough to be able to attend 2 days for the tournament, and what an atmosphere and what an event that was. Just really well done, and we were fortunate as Plover to be a part of that as well and part of the planning group. It went off without a hitch. I thought they designed that whole thing really well, and we were happy to be a part of it. But yeah, they certainly brought people into our area. We're certainly fortunate to have that.
Yeah, as your cohort in Stevens Point, Mike Wiesa would say, you had a lot of people that had a lot of first dates with Central Wisconsin like that,
Yeah.
and anticipate that some of them will either come back or they will tell their family and friends about what a great time that they had there, or even how great the golf was, and expose a lot of new people to the area.
Yeah, that tournament was certainly a win for our region without question. That was a huge event for everyone involved.
And indeed, and specifically for you, well, one more before we let you go here. We're talking about the growth of the village. You've got a lot more plans on that east side between Plover and Wisconsin Rapids. I mean, somebody like me that goes a couple years without seeing that area, you go back and you say, "Wow, this is different. This is a lot nicer than it was 2 years ago," and that's even going to change again here in the next couple of years, isn't it?
Absolutely. So yeah, the residential growth in the village of Plover has been steady and strong, to say it mildly. And there's long-term plans for that already. So there's already over 200 homes out in that, we'll call it the former Tree Acres area, to the east of I-39, south of County Highway B. That neighborhood, that community has been growing leaps and bounds. There's still 160 acres spoken for and platted out for new single-family residential. There's also a mix of some duplexes and some multifamily out there. And again, that trend is continuing. The village of Plover, over the last 3 years, has averaged 50 new single family houses per year, which actually outpaces all the communities in Portage County as a whole at year end. So we're trending. I just talked to our building inspectors earlier this morning. We're going to hit the 50 mark again this year, which again, those are record years each of the last 3 years. And we don't see a slowdown in sight when we're talking with builders. The environment might change a little bit with interest rates, but we're still seeing that pent up demand, and folks want to live here. And again, it's a testament to Portage County, Central Wisconsin as a whole. And we're fortunate to have people, choose us, because that's certainly a choice that they make when they're choosing to build a home or buy a home is where do you want to be? We hope that we continue to be that place where people want to be.
And I think another big piece of that too, that and we can tie this back to the foundation that's been laid before you got there, was the diversification of the economy and the jobs in the Plover Stevens Point area. Obviously, you've got some manufacturing. You've been able to diversify with the Artisan Fair complex now at the old Shopco building. You took one business that went out of business and made it into several new ones in an area that people want to be for several hours. So the diversification of the economy there has really created that demand for jobs. And then, of course, the demand for jobs comes with a demand for residential housing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Portage County as a whole, we benefit from certainly the university system being here. You got your Skywards, your Delta Dentals, your Monogram Foods, your Del Monte. There's a lot of folks that are in the villages, immediately in the village, but just around, the greater community has such great employers that keep people here in strong jobs that can weather tough economic times. That we've seen a pretty steady landscape, and I hope that continues. But yeah, with all that, the success of Stevens Point, the success of Wausau, Wisconsin Rapids, all benefits Plover. We're well situated geographically to have people that may want to work in any of those small communities while still be able to live down here and kind of serve our local economy as well.
Last question, then, before we let you go. And your predecessor, Dan Alt, probably had one of the best answers to this since I've been doing these. So the pressure is obviously very much on you. What's the coolest thing in your office?
The coolest, so I am definitely not as cool as Dan Alt did. He had a plethora of unique items But I'll pull something down here,
Sure.
more as a reminder.
Oh, of course.
So it's going to probably read backwards. But if you notice here, we
Oh,
had folks that certainly like to remind us of our mishap a couple of
oh,
years ago.
and
But it's something that we rolled with, and it was a lot of fun. The village of Plover will always exist.
And yeah, it will. And you know, that the day that happened, and this is a good story. I got a friend from where I went to college in Marshall, Minnesota. His son was playing for the Marshall Legion team. The day that happened, they were at a tournament in New Ulm, Minnesota, where they actually played Plover that day.
Oh yeah.
I had to tell him, I was like, meanwhile, in Plover itself, but he didn't see it until after the game was done. He said there would have been so much heckling going on
Yeah.
had we known about that when Marshall and Plover were actually playing. But yes, I like it there. You went with it. It's a great paperweight. It's a great memory. I'm all about the little souvenirs and trinkets. So there
Yeah.
you go. Dan Alt, your piece of red tape, it's been topped.
I don't know about that. The red tape right from the Eisenhower administration is a pretty special thing. So
That
we,
is
we certainly missed both Dan's here. One of which Dan Mahoney still lives in the area, so I can still get to bend his ear plenty. Dan Alt decided to leave the country or leave the state by quite a bit, so he's a little bit more difficult to reach, but he still touches base every once in a while to check in on us.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? For those of you that don't like winter, leaving Wisconsin by quite a bit is not a bad idea. But hey, there's still some of us that like it every now and then.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, Steve, we appreciate the time. We'll look forward to chatting again as we head into the new year.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.